think you have to also, one of the best things that you should be trying to discern about a person is, look, nobody has a roadmap for their life, at any age, right? I don't know what next week's going to look like in some ways, right? But I have a general sense of the calling that God has on my life, right? I know the mountaintop or some idea of it, maybe a clouded vision of it, but I don't know the specifics of what it's going to look like to get there. When it comes to Christian dating, I think, or getting to know someone or assessing your potential to be able to be married to them, one of the most important questions is to ask them what their sense in that moment, like what is it the Lord has told you your life is going to look like, what your ministry is going to look like, what all those things are. Like I know a couple, they're not a couple. I know two people who are assessing or talking to each other, and they both God-fearing people, like excellent people, and they're both gone on to since be married to completely other people. But it's just that it's not that they couldn't talk or that there was anything wrong with each other, but they had completely different visions for what their ministry was going to look like. There was one person who, wanted to, like, who felt like the guy I know, like, felt like to stay in his home state, and serve there where he was, but the girl, the Lord had laid it on her heart to move to another part of the world and adopt children and do all these things that were completely at odds with what this person wanted to do. Not wanted to do, but again, felt led from the Lord to do. So that's, I think, a really important consideration. And you see how, like, nothing wrong with them, two totally Christian people, but they were both the hands and feet of Jesus. But those hands and feet were meant to be doing different things. And that's not to be saying that you need the same person. You don't need a mirror or a robot. You need somebody who will complement you. And complement doesn't always mean easy. It means helping you become more like Christ in the way that the Lord needs you to be more like Christ. So that's one of the questions you can and absolutely should ask. Specific characteristics, I don't think there are a whole lot of differences between what's required of men and women, because I think the fruit of the Spirit applies to everybody, men and women as a general matter equally. You'll want somebody who will show you all the love, joy, the kindness, patience, all that other stuff. But I would also say that they need to, that I would say, assess their understanding of a Christian marriage and make sure that, it aligns with Scripture. Understand that they, both roles of a husband and a wife, not just that's just the tip of the iceberg, but again, do they have, do you agree on children, Again, they don't have to be things that you have a set plan for, because I think it's just, especially when it comes to children, people always ask, how many children do you want? When we're younger, you're just 3 would be nice, 2 would be nice, or I want a whole football team, whatever, wherever you on the spectrum you fall. The reality is, as I've gotten older, for me, I'm just man, when you realize how much of a miracle just having one healthy child is. Obviously certain perspectives will change over time. So it's not like you're holding somebody to certain answers or anything like that. But again, you're thinking of the bigger picture when you ask these questions. And so, but I would say in terms of characteristics, there's no difference. I would say definitely look at the fruit of the Spirit and whether they love the Lord, because one of the really hard things about marriage is that your wife or your husband is going to basically, among other things, in addition to complimenting you, in addition to being your support and your rock and all these other things that we want them to be, and certainly the Lord, I think, desires for them to be, when both of you walk this out faithfully, they're also going to show you what a bad person you are. They're going to reveal aspects of yourself that nobody else could bring out of you, because they have an up close magnifying glass of you. They're going to know you on a level literally that nobody else knows. And so they're going to see the aspects of yourself that are hard. And it's not going to be it's not always going to look like, hey, Charlie, I want you to know that I wish if you could so kindly, please stop doing this. No, it's going to be dude, what the heck? It's you know what I'm saying? These are going to be hard things that you end up going through, things that will make you think oh my gosh, how did we get here? Is our marriage in trouble? Is our marriage in trouble? That is part of what marriage is designed to do. It's to help you become more like Christ. And that's a wrestling match between your flesh. And this other person is meant to help you look like Christ. You're your wife, like it is going to be hard for you to be able to live a life on a daily basis where you're ready to die for her. Like Brian Charlton used to say, like, you got to be willing to die for her right after she said something about your mama. You know what I mean? Like it's like, you don't, not on Valentine's Day, not when like you just, you just made love or something. Like, no, you have to be willing to die for her right when you're most annoyed with her. Right. And in the same way, like a wife will have to support her husband and love him when he's being the biggest jerk and absolutely by no human standard deserves it. And it's, both of these are like innately helping you, forming you, molding you into the image of Christ. So yeah, there are like, that's why, and that's what you're ultimately trying to assess. Is this person going to help me do that? And there's no litmus test or clear answer to be able to say like, oh yeah, this is the person, or in terms of like, there's no roadmap. You're not looking for a perfect person, but you are looking for the person that the Lord wants you to progress with. There's because a perfect person just doesn't exist. In fact, it's through your imperfections when they come together that are going to force you to change, provided that both of you are centered to God, and both of you, like a triangle, tries to meet its midpoint. As you get closer to God, you get closer to each other. So that's what you're ultimately trying to evaluate in a potential partner or spouse, because that's someone I'm going to be able to do that with.